All right. We're live.
We are live. Good afternoon, everybody.
Yeah, how's everyone doing out there? We're going to just wait a minute or two here to let everybody start to get on and get the questions start to load up, excuse me. And I'm welcoming Radlyn back. We've been gone for a couple of weeks. Radlyn was in the Philippines tending to some business, making some new connections. And I think that we have some information to share with you about that. It'd be nice to have somebody over there to refer folks to.
Yeah, it's great to be back. Sorry, we're a little bit late. We were testing out our featured business this morning. Well, no, sorry, this afternoon. And we
right.
we like to support our local businesses. For those of you who don't know, we are immigration law firm Gardner and Mendoza, and we are located in Virginia Beach, Virginia, east coast of the United States. And we represent people from all over the world, but we do like to support our local businesses. And I'm Radlyn Mendoza, and this is my husband and law partner, John Gardner.
That's right. And we are the immigration law firm Gardner and Mendoza, and we come to you every Friday from noon to 1 to basically answer your immigration questions and sometimes give you immigration updates.
When we have immigration
other
updates.
legal updates. There's not been a whole lot on the immigration front in terms of big changes lately. So it's mostly been answering questions. And as I said, I also want to say hello to all of our TikTok folks over here. We are on Facebook Live and we are also on TikTok. Radlyn has a great TikTok. So if you haven't checked her out there, you should definitely check her out.
Definitely check us out on all social media. And we also are on YouTube and Twitter, streaming from YouTube and Twitter. Yeah. So Fred says hi. Fred, Ashwin, Noreen, hello. Everybody on TikTok, thanks for the love.
Yes. Okay.
All right. So we've been gone for 2 weeks, and
we've been gone for 2 weeks.
So bear with us, guys. Bear with us.
Radlyn was in the Philippines. She was having some meetings with some attorneys over there, which is really helpful because one of the things that we encounter here in the United States with our immigration law practice is that sometimes there are small pieces of a case that need help somewhere else. And typically it's something like, somebody needs to file adoption papers or something in the Philippines.
Or get an annulment. Or verify documents.
Or a quiet title to some property or something like that. And those are all Philippine law issues that we can't directly deal with. And so Radlyn was meeting with attorneys over there to make some connections so that in the future we can refer folks over there to these attorneys and they can help with that small piece of the puzzle. And then once that piece is done, we can then push forward with the immigration
Absolutely.
case.
And you guys, please follow us on the social media because we are going to have a collaborative live with those guys, our attorney friends in the Philippines. John Legaspi is the head attorney there. And we can't wait to partner up with them and have a great referral for our clients who need some assistance in the Philippines, which comes up quite a bit. So before we get started on our questions, did you have a disclaimer or anything to talk about?
Oh, yes, I absolutely have a disclaimer. I have a disclaimer that what we do here is for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. This is not legal advice. What we do is we take questions. They are, hypotheticals. We're dealing with just some very basic facts and then try to field them and answer how we, would proceed if we knew more about it. But we don't have all the details of your case. So please do not take what we do here as legal advice. It is not legal advice. Okay.
Yeah. And you want to check your phone? It's blowing up.
No,
it's probably the family group chat. There's a lot of exciting things happening, guys. Prom is happening tonight. For one of our daughters. So that's very exciting.
Another very exciting thing that's happening here, as Radlyn said at the outset, our office is located in Virginia Beach, Virginia, which is on the east coast of the United States. And we have something happening right now that hasn't happened for 3 weeks. Not since the first week of May has a glimmer of sunshine been here.
It is sunny outside today.
It's been three solid weeks of just rain and wind and storms. So
yeah, nor'easters, and it's very unusual. So we're happy to see the sun.
Okay. I guess everybody's starting to get some questions going here.
All right.
I got
awesome.
some over here on TikTok. I'm very excited because before we came here, we picked up some lunch to have when we're done here at a place down the road called Carib Shack, which is like a Caribbean restaurant, which is absolutely fantastic. And I just wanted to share. I
told John we should eat on air, and he's
Nah.
not approve of eating on
We're
air.
gonna
which
wait.
I thought we're just gonna show you the Cuban sandwich
I
from
just
Carib
want
Shack.
everybody to be jealous knowing that this, I mean, this
Look
is,
at how huge that is.
this is a legit
It's Carib Shack off of Shore Drive. Great people,
100% legit.
amazing food, and we were a little bit late today because
Because I was late getting back. It was
well,
my
and
fault.
also we opened up the jerk shrimp.
You weren't supposed to tell them. that.
Okay, we opened up the jerk shrimp, and we could not pull ourselves away from the jerk shrimp in order to be on time
Okay.
to this today. So anyhow, that is a massive Cuban sandwich that we are going to sink our teeth into after this. I wanted to eat it during, but
Yeah.
yeah, he's probably right. It's food. falling.
Yeah. We'll wait.
right.
We'll wait
All
till
right.
1 o'clock for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Let us get to
Yeah,
the
let's-
questions. What there's a
let's
bunch of
get
there are a bunch of
started.
questions on TikTok. So let's
Questions are
grab
coming
those.
through on TikTok here, and I'll tell you, we just take them in the order that they come. So,
And I've got, don't let me forget, I've got a question that was sent in to us. Can I borrow your phone?
yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you the questions, we just take them as they come in, and especially here on TikTok, we go in the order that they're received. And if you just spam your question, it just makes it harder for us actually to get to it, because then we have to keep scrolling all the way through them again. So
Don't spam the question.
please don't spam the question. If you have your question in line, just leave
They're
it
not
there.
going to do that today.
Don't keep resubmitting it 50 times. Okay. Okay. First question up here is, here we got a local situation. Hello
Oh, awesome.
from the ocean front.
Okay.
So-
The ocean front.
Yeah, for those of you who are not familiar, that's like basically the Atlantic Ocean here in Virginia Beach.
One of the questions on the naturalization application, by the way.
Okay, hello from the ocean front. My I-751 interview was done in May 2022.
Interview was done May of 2022, so 1 year
but
ago, roughly.
Still no reply.
Oh,
What should I do now?
interesting. So 1 year later.
Hmm.
All right. So the first thing is to check to see whether the I-751 that you filed is outside of processing times. And the way that you do that is to basically Google USCIS processing times, and you will come to a page where you can put in your form number, in which this case, it's the I-751. Click on the Norfolk USCIS office, and then you can see how long they're taking to process the case. So if the case is still within processing times, even though you got interviewed about a year ago, then you are kind of out of luck as far as following up on that. What you would have to do is wait until that case fell outside of processing times, and that's when you can start making USCIS inquiries. So another thing that you can do is you may be eligible to file for U.S. citizenship right now. And if that's the case, then I would recommend that you file for U.S. citizenship so you can get that in the pike, and don't let your I-751 that has not been decided yet hold you back, unless, of course, you are not eligible for citizenship time-wise or any other eligibility requirements. So those are a couple of things that you can do that might shake things up with regard to your I-751 still pending. If that 751 is outside of processing times, absolutely contact USCIS and try to find out what's going on. If you get nothing from them, you could also make a congressional inquiry request and have your local congressperson make an inquiry on your behalf. So those are a couple of things. If you have not yet joined our Live Love Immigration page on Facebook, I recommend that you do so. Pinned to the top of that page is exactly the instructions on how you can make a congressional inquiry. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, and I'll just add that if you are ready to hire an attorney to assist with this, you can also just give us a call. Let me give our information. Our telephone number is 757-464-9224, or you can also email us info gmlaw.net, or look for us on Facebook. The banner is going across here for the Facebook Live folks, but for those of you on TikTok who can't see that, again, it's 757-464-9224 or info@gmlaw.net. You may be in a position now where you've just decided, you know what, I'm going to just hire a lawyer to take care of this for me so I can stop worrying about it. And if that's you, then please reach out to us. All right.
All right. Fantastic. Great question.
Yeah.
We do get a lot of processing time questions because things are taking a long time. If you have recently filed your I-751, the petition to remove the conditions on your lawful permanent residency, then you know that when you got the receipt notice back for that I-751, USCIS has extended your green card for 48 months. And, you know, for those who don't do math very quickly like me, that's 4 years. So most of you, if you're still married to that U.S. citizen spouse, are going to be eligible to apply for naturalization. Again, I have a lot of videos on this on TikTok. Do not let the fact that your I-751 petition has not, the fact that it hasn't been approved hold you back from filing your NATS case, your naturalization, if you are otherwise eligible for naturalization. You do not have to have an approval of that I-751 in order to file for U.S. citizenship. And for those of you who are in that boat, this is the $1 million tip of the day.
Yeah, that's a great tip.
Okay.
Great information.
All right.
Okay. Did you want to grab one over here?
Yeah, let's grab another question on TikTok and then we'll grab a.
Okay.
They started gearing up.
Yep. Sooner. Here's another one from the Philippines waiting for IL spousal visas. I'm sorry, I don't have my glasses. I forgot my glasses. Spousal visa, 6 months and counting. I don't know if that's a question or just a.
Yeah, I mean, I had to break some bad news to people during consultations this week because they're not really aware of what the processing times are like right now. And it takes a long time. And if you're doing you're doing consular processing, if you're doing an immigrant visa and you're abroad, say you're in the Philippines or, you're in Jamaica or, you're somewhere else in the world and you're waiting for your spousal visa to come through, again, that's a couple of years wait typically. So hang in there, guys, for those of you who are in that situation. And please make sure that the lines of communication between you and your spouse are open and that your spouse abroad knows that it has nothing to do with you and what you are not doing with their immigration case that's holding it back. And, you do hear stories where, oh, well, my friend and my uncle and this and that, they got their case approved in just, 2 days. Why is it taking so long? What are you doing wrong? And sometimes the U.S. citizen or the lawful permanent resident spouse will be blamed for that. But you've got to make sure to keep those lines of communication open. If your I-130 petition of the person on TikTok who wrote in, I can't see the name, but if that's really just the first part, you have quite a bit more time to go as far as waiting is concerned.
Yeah, and I wanted to say hi real quick. I just saw that my mom and my nephew and godson, Daniel James, are watching. Hello.
Hey, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. Your mom is joining us from YouTube.
I see that. She's very tech forward.
Yeah, I like that. Facebook, YouTube. My mom is probably asleep. It's midnight where she is.
Right.
All right. Let's see here. I'm going to grab Jamie's question here. Jamie Lynn says, my fiance does not have citizenship at this time, but has a court date coming up for no license and open container. He is here on asylum. If he is found guilty, will that affect his status? So I'm going to say that, number one, I hope that your fiance has an immigration attorney. So, and these questions I would pose to the immigration attorney, but I will answer the question as well. John and I can answer that question. Yeah. If you're here in Virginia, right? The operating with no license is a class two
misdemeanor.
It's a class 2 misdemeanor. What does that mean?
That means that you can be fined up to $1,000 and be sent to jail for up to 6 months.
Right. And, for people who are in Virginia in particular, this is and don't have a driver's license. This is a very common charge.
Super common.
And then we have an open container. Is that an infraction?
Yeah, the open container I don't think is going to be as much of a concern.
Right. So let's just assume that your fiance has been granted asylum because he is here on asylum. So I'm going to just assume that he has been granted asylum. The next step for your fiance is that he's going to have to file for his green card, lawful permanent residency.
Can I need my phone real quick?
Yeah.
Just check that.
It's stuck for whatever reason. I couldn't get to where I wanted to go with it. So when he files for the green card application, the question is, and this is for everyone here who might be making an application for lawful permanent residency, for the green card, the I-485, even if you're consular processing, the question is, are you admissible? Are you going to be able to be admitted to the United States as a lawful permanent resident? If you're abroad, that's literally being admitted. If you're here in the United States, that's getting your green card granted to you. So the question is, will a no operator's license charge and conviction, presumably, and an open container prevent you from getting that green card? And the answer is, generally speaking, no, it does not. And again, we're looking at this question in a vacuum, right? We only know what you put here. We only know about the no license and the open container. We don't know other factors and other things that may be relevant to your fiance's good moral character, and whether, good moral character is one part of it, but it's really about all the questions on the green card application that make a person ineligible to get lawful permanent residency status. But generally speaking, these two charges by themselves will not prevent your fiance from getting that green card approved. But
Right.
we're saying this with a grain of salt. This is not legal advice. Hopefully your fiance has an immigration attorney, and that is case 100% check with them.
Yeah, I would second that anytime you have any kind of criminal charges, and even though these may look like more like traffic type charges, they really are criminal charges because there's potential jail time involved here. And so anytime that happens, you really want to be careful with anything you're doing with immigration, because it matters. As Radlyn said, it matters, whether you're trying to get a green card or whether you're trying to get citizenship, whether you're trying to enter the United States or whether you're already here. There are exceptions, a petty offense exception, depending on things. If you're trying to get citizenship, if you're under a period of good behavior, that is going to delay how long it is before you can be eligible for that. So there's a lot going on here, and hopefully they do have a attorney. I wanted to double check about the open container real fast. I'll do that and come back on. But one charge of no license, probably not going to be a problem if they're able to get a license. Obviously, that will solve it. Almost every judge in Virginia will reduce that charge to no operator's license in possession if you show up in court with a license. If you're not eligible to get a Virginia driver's license because of the fact that you have, this immigration situation going on, you still may be eligible for a driving privilege card here in Virginia, assuming this is in Virginia. So a lot going on there. But here's the number one takeaway. We can't say for sure whether that's going to affect his status, because as Radlyn said, we don't know anything else that's going on. He may have all their convictions that are going to cause trouble when they're in conjunction with these. But the main takeaway here really should be that we think everyone should have an immigration lawyer, of course, but especially if you have criminal charges swirling around, because they always add a complicated wrinkle to the case. And so you want to be careful with that.
Yep.
And I will double check.
All right. Great question. Want to grab one on TikTok?
Yeah. So this is one of the early questions. My cousin is the only one in his family that is legal. And he was wondering how old he has to be to help his parents get citizenship.
So if your cousin is a U.S. citizen, then he has to be 21 years of age in order to file for his parents. Now, before taking that next step of filing for parents, you want to make sure that filing that petition, he would be able to see that all the way through to the end. What I mean is, if his parents are here and they enter the United States without inspection and they're not grandfathered in any way under any old law, and your cousin is not in the military, they may be ineligible to adjust their status here in the United States and get a green card. But if they're abroad and it's through consular processing, then he should be able to, at the age of 21, file a petition for his parents and get that ball rolling. So my recommendation, it's a really, really good question. The general answer is children can petition for their parents at the age of 21. And if they're U.S. citizens, lawful permanent residents cannot petition for their parents. You have to be a U.S. citizen first. So my recommendation to your cousin is for him to give us a call and let us analyze the situation, and don't just blindly file for your parents if they're here, if they're abroad, and just make sure that is the right strategy and that he's actually eligible to do that, and they will be eligible for the benefit ultimately. Because we, as immigration attorneys, we take a look at the case from the beginning to end and seeing it through, not just like, okay, let's just file this and that's going to be fine. We have to make sure that parents are eligible to get that in the end before filing anything. So, great question.
Right. And real quick, my memory was serving me well. Open container, at least in Virginia, as I thought, is a class 4 misdemeanor. So it's a non-jailable offense. So it's going to be one that will not really have a big impact at all. However, one warning: if you're naturalizing and you have an open container conviction and you're just thinking, well, it was such a minor thing that I don't really probably need to put it on this application, think again.
Definitely put it on the application.
Definitely put it on.
Because they know.
They know. That's right.
Those biometrics that you do, that's how they know.
Yeah.
They know about arrests and charges and incidents and infractions from 30 years ago. So
Often,
don't try to hide anything from the USCIS.
Hiding it or lying about it is oftentimes, is always worse than.
Right. And a lot of people want to not put things on the application.
They want to clean up the record they want to,
want to look good.
They want to look good and
more, green card
more presentable for the
right.
whole process.
But that's just a bad idea. don't do that. Because it's going to come out. What is that Darman saying that our youngest daughter, she's 12, she watches Darman. We watch Darman with her.
Everything in the darkness will ultimately come to the light, or something like that.
This is one of the major themes of Darman. Shout out Darman.
Shout out
awesome.
Darman.
We watch him all the time, but that is one of the
when
things.
My mom was here last week, we even watched some Darmans. Remember that, Mama?
Yeah.
even my mom now has seen Darman.
Anything in the dark will always come to light. Everything in the dark will always come to light. Something along those lines. We'll have to
quote a little off.
We'll have to double check.
That's pretty much it.
All right. Before we go on to the next question on TikTok or on our live stream here on Facebook, someone wrote in a question, and I'm going to just paraphrase it. It was very, very long, lots of details, lots of fact patterns. So first off, again, want to preface this answer by this is not legal advice. Even with details, there's nothing, you cannot replace a consultation, a strategy session with an immigration attorney. Again, it does not have to be us, but it should be someone. It should be an immigration attorney that will look out for you and look out for your case, which is most likely going to be a super long case with case processing times. I mean, even before pre-COVID, case processing times were long. I mean, they're, even if you have to wait 8 months for a marriage adjustment case, it's still a long period of time. But anyhow, so this question came from a service member spouse, U.S. citizen, and the question was, their spouse is here in the United States on a J1 on the au pair program, and the service member is getting stationed abroad. And the question is, hey, I'm getting stationed abroad in July. Of course, I want my spouse to accompany me to the country. I believe it was Italy when I go. And by the way, I'm going in July, which is practically tomorrow, right?
Mhm.
What is the best way to handle my spouse's immigration issue and status? Because I want her to be able. I don't remember which one. I'll just say her because it's an au pair, and I'll just kind of make those general assumptions that an au pair is a woman, right? For this purpose. How do I make sure that she's able to go with me, and more importantly, that she's able to come back to the United States with me when that period is up, which is going to be 3 years? What should we do? Should I file? The question was, should I file before we leave? So there are a couple of ways to slice and dice this. And again, I even though a lot of information was given during this in this question, and I appreciate you guys sending us the question ahead of time. You could file an I-130 for your spouse, but I mean, you guys are leaving in July in 1 month. So the other option is, once you leave the country, go ahead and file the I-130 petition for your spouse at that point in time. And by the time you come back, fingers crossed, then that immigrant visa will be ready to go, and she'll be able to immigrate into the United States as a lawful permanent resident under the most ideal conditions, right? So when you talk about filing here in the United States, a lot of people in the spouses in the United States, a lot of people are thinking, okay, I'm going to file, and I'm going to file for my spouse, and I'm going to file for the green card application. But when you file for that green card application in the United States, because your spouse is in the United States and you're eligible to do that, so long as they entered with inspection and otherwise eligible to file the I-130 and the green card application together, when you leave the country, you're going to abandon that application. So that, again, even though I haven't spoken with you, and that's probably, I probably would not go that route if you are leaving. Now, a couple of questions pop into my mind as well. Is your spouse is here on the J1 au pair program? Is your spouse in status? I mean, has she been keeping up with her status, or did she come on the J1 previously and overstayed? So there are a couple of things here. And these are for people who are, have service member spouses or children or parents. If you cannot afford to make a consultation with an immigration attorney, there is a special program called the Military Assistance Program through American Immigration Lawyers Association. And I would take a look at that. If for some reason you're not able to afford a consultation in order to talk to an immigration attorney about this, because again, as we mentioned before, this is going to be very nuanced. It's going to be very case specific. It's going to depend on a lot of different factors. And you really need someone to take a look at all the facts and make sure that what you're doing is the right thing to be doing. But it was a great question. And hopefully that helps.
Yep. And thank you for your patience. Those of you who are here live, you might feel like, when you're in a restaurant waiting for your food and you just see all the takeout orders going, and you just keep thinking, why are they only doing the takeout
No,
orders? I mean,
that was
I'm
just
here
one
in the
takeout
restaurant.
order out of all the many who are here. Just one takeout order.
Just one takeout order. That's all that was. One takeout order. Okay.
So where were we?
We got a question over here. Awaiting NVC case number. Have you heard anything about them speeding up?
I have not heard about speeding up anything.
No, speeding up is something that generally does not come into any conversation.
Waiting for National Visa Center. So again, we've mentioned this a few times on our live. And if you are at that point where you think, gosh, this is not fair. I've been waiting all this time. I have a really good case. It shouldn't be this hard. I've waited all this time. I'm ready to take it to the next level and do something and force USCIS to take an action on my case, or the National Visa Center or State Department. Reach out to us if you're at that point, because we will be happy to analyze your case to see whether it's appropriate to file a lawsuit in your case and force the government to do its job. So again, how fed up are you? How long have you been waiting? We'll be happy to do that.
Yeah, there is that place that you can go with it. I mean, immigration is federal law. It's federal administrative law. And when you're ultimately unhappy and frustrated, there is a place that you can go, and that is to the federal court. That's your next place to seek a remedy. So if you were here, we would file in the Fourth Circuit here in Virginia and file a lawsuit and go that route. And it seems like a scary prospect. We've had a lot of success with it. We understand most people, when we say that, are like, "Oh, I don't know about that. I don't think I want to sue the people that I'm trying to get this benefit from." But it's not as scary as you think, and it's highly effective. I would just leave it at that.
Highly effective, yeah.
Highly effective.
We cannot guarantee
You
success.
cannot guarantee success because the Virginia State Bar doesn't.
Most bars, probably.
That's right. I'm assuming every bar in the whole country has that same rule, but I don't actually know.
Okay, I'm going to grab Fred's.
Yep. Oh, I think there was a first part of it there. It's
Radlyn. I'm going to just say that really fast. Radlyn. Oh, look at the baby. So cute. It kind of looks like Ray, right?
Yeah.
Looks like our youngest baby. Okay. I mean, kind of all babies look similar, right? Nah, that's not true. Ours were the cutest.
Yeah.
Just like this baby right here. All right. Hi, I'm married to the guy who petitioned me K1, and I got my 2-year green card. But our relationship did not work, and I found a different guy, and now we have a baby. Okay. So here's a little bit more information. We are not divorced yet, but now I'm here in the Philippines for vacation. All right. So we have a situation here where the question really is, I have my 2-year green card. You're probably going to have to remove your petition. You're going to have to file the petition for removal of those conditions, the I-751, and prove that you and your original petitioner had a bona fide marriage and a bona fide relationship. So I think that you adding the information about you have a baby now, you're now with a different person, kind of goes to, hey, do I need to file with this new person? Maybe that's one of the questions. I don't know exactly what the question is, but I'm kind of reading into it. Or am I going to be able to get my 10-year green card with this first marriage and relationship? And again, it all depends on what type of proof and evidence that you have to show that you and your husband, who you're not divorced yet, you guys are not divorced yet, what kind of documentation you have and can show that it was a real marriage, and all the evidence that you can provide to remove those conditions on your green card. So hopefully that helps. I think the ultimate question here is, do I have a problem? Right?
Yeah.
Am I going to be able to get my green card? Am I going to be able to live in the United States with my American baby and presumably American?
What if my husband is angry and does not want to help and participate in the next phase here?
Right. Yep. So those are really the core of Fryland's questions of, I'm feeling kind of unsafe and unsecure. I'm in the Philippines. I have my 2-year green card. I have this baby. When I come back in through the airport, I'm like, whose baby is this? Where's the, so these are questions that can come up. And the bottom line is, this is your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is your 2-year green card. Is it going to be a 10-year green card? Are you going to have an issue coming back into the United States? And I think that ultimately, and I think you probably know this because I know you've been on since we started at 12, and you're in the Philippines right now, so it's midnightish for you, right? Almost 1 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a call. Let us consult with you and help guide you through this process because
The baby was born here. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the new gentleman that you're with, is he
also
Is
in
he
the
al-
United States, also
is he in the
American.
United States, or
Yeah.
is he somebody that you met in the Philippines, or
I think he's well,
here as
actually,
well? I don't know.
no, can't tell. So, give us a call.
Absolutely.
You can reach out to us through Messenger or our phone number for all of you guys who are interested in hiring an attorney for your process. It's 757-464-9224. Because we are super busy and handling the cases, we're not taking consultations that are just to answer information. This is what our live stream
Right.
is for. It's what our Facebook posts are for. It's what our TikTok's for.
But if you're in a position where you do want to hire an attorney and you'd like to have a consultation with us before you do so, or as part of that process, please give us a call and schedule that consultation, and we can make sure you're going off on the right foot.
Right. Yeah.
And we can handle the case. But as Radlyn said, if you just have like a very, narrow question about your existing immigration case, this is the right forum for that, not hiring us.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean,
Or calling us,
we've had a lot of appointments that are informational only, but we no longer have the capacity to take those. And for those of you who are asking, our consultation fee is $295, and it's a virtual consultation. So no matter where you are in the United States, no matter where you are in the world, we have people join us from all over the place.
We have clients all over the country, all over the world. It's
very cool. Yeah. And we'll be happy to help you.
Absolutely.
All right. Should we grab one from TikTok?
Okay. Gracie wants to know, can an employer still sponsor H-1B to an overstaying employee?
Possibly. It depends on possibly, but generally speaking, no, I would say. I mean, it does depend on the circumstances, but usually when an employee has overstayed, that normally is going to get called, we'll call for consular processing of that application as opposed to an extension of status or a change of status. You'll have to do that, and that employee will have to go abroad. Of course, depending on how long that employee has been out of status, if that employee goes abroad, they could potentially trigger a bar to their reentry. So whatever the situation is, it would have to be, really looked at, and all the facts and exits out of the country and how that person came out of status. Hopefully that helps. All right. Genesis has a good question. Wait, I think I missed one. Here we go. Ashwin's been here. Can you apply for a sibling for green card while he or she is on an E2 visa? The answer is yes, you can. And one thing that I do want to mention, the F4 category, the sibling of a U.S. citizen, it's taking a really long time, right? It's taking over a decade. And when a sibling is here on an E2 visa, they are in a non-immigrant status, right? So when you file for your sibling and you file that I-130 petition, your sibling now has a pending petition for an immigrant visa. There's a potential that, if they travel outside the United States and are coming back in, they could be seen as an intending immigrant, and the E2 visa is not a dual intent visa. Something to think about. I don't know if I would not file the I-130 petition if that was the only way my sibling could become a lawful permanent resident in the United States based on that. But it's just definitely something to think about, that dual intent is not permissible on an E2. And when you file that petition for your brother or sister, then they may say that the sibling has dual intent. Just a little thing. But, reach out to us if you'd like to discuss more, and let us help you with that, or find another way for your sibling that could potentially be faster.
Okay.
All right.
Lane wants to know what is happening with DACA. DACA is in the same place that it has been for quite some time now. For those of you who don't know, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. In 2021, a federal judge had basically closed the program to new applicants, ruling that it had been improperly launched in 2012 when the program came into existence, and the judge ruled that it had failed to comply with the administrative rules and laws that are required when you start a program like that, the Administrative Procedures Act. And so existing cases could be renewed, new cases could not be started, and the case is still being litigated right now. In fact, I think there was a hearing yesterday in front of the same judge dealing with standing issues, which for non-lawyers out there, that just means whether some of the litigants are even allowed to be in court suing or not. You have to show that you are adversely affected by something to have standing. So the update, Lane, is just that it's still being litigated, but as for now, it's the same as it has been since 2021.
Great memory from that. This is like, okay, glad they didn't ask me. All right. Genesis has a question.
Well, you have to answer all these other questions. So that's
Can an unmarried son over the age of 21 who's waiting for an interview, papers are done, change his status while on the United States on a tourist visa? So it depends. It depends on whether, while he's here on a tourist visa, whether that visa becomes available while he is here on the tourist visa. And again, there are some pitfalls to doing this if you're not careful with the timing when the person files the green card application, if they are in fact eligible. So I would just keep a lookout on that, or better yet, give us a call, and we'll be happy to consult with you on this. We do all types of family immigration as well as business immigration. Yep. But I get very excited when I see a question like this.
I know you do.
Only because, it's just a perfect.
Yeah, no, I know.
It's a perfect set of facts. If this in fact is true. Now, if the unmarried son is still abroad, right, and they're asking this question, I get a little less excited, because then they're coming into the United States on a tourist visa. This question has been asked, and then there's an intent issue, potentially immigrant intent issue while coming in on that tourist visa. But if we have an unmarried son over the age of 21, where an I-130 petition has been filed, an unmarried son over 21, let's just say it's a lawful permanent resident or a U.S. citizen who has filed that on behalf of their unmarried son over 21, this is a 10, 11-year wait, right? And so if the visa is available and they just happen to be here on a tourist visa, yeah, that gets me really excited, because we may be able to file the green card application while son is here. So Genesis, great question. That was my my dopamine hit of the day.
Yeah, and the intent when you enter matters. If you're coming as a tourist, then you're here to be a tourist. If you're coming as a student, you're coming to be a student. And those are the purposes of those visas. That has to be why you actually are here. But if you happen to meet somebody while you're here, or something changes while you're here, then that's
okay to have a changed intent.
It's okay to change your intent at that point. Absolutely. Right.
And then there are other issues here, like you're at the airport, they ask you what the purpose of your trip is. And, you say to visit my parents, and it comes out that, you've got that petition that was filed. It's approved. You went through National Visa Center processing. You just got your tourist visa, and you didn't put down that you had parents in the U.S. Again, I'm totally talking hypothetical, just awful things that could happen. Yeah. And then you get turned right back around.
And your parents, you never enter the United States. Live in San Diego, but you're trying to exit the LaGuardia Airport in New York. Yeah. These are the things that cause problems. So just be careful.
And I mean, I will say that I'm a U.S. citizen. I was born in the United States. In fact, I was born at the Portsmouth Naval Hospital. So I think I even have, even higher U.S. citizen status than those who were just born in a civilian hospital. I was born in a military hospital.
Yeah, you're just like
I'm just a little bit more of a U.S. citizen than everybody else.
A little bit smidge above me. I was.
You were born in some county hospital.
That's right. Some little tiny city.
Tiny.
The doctor.
Oh, there we go. It was muted. I was getting too excited. Oh, when did that get muted?
Yeah. Did anyone?
Sorry, guys. We got muted for a second. Apologize. All right. My point is, I was born in the United States, and when I went through Customs and Border Protection at the airport, I was nervous. And I didn't have any seeds, and I didn't have any meat, and I didn't have any raw vegetables or fruits. I had nothing. I had like $50 on me. I didn't have $10,000.
Didn't have any cartons of cigarettes.
I had nothing. And I was nervous answering those questions.
Yeah.
And I know it's not just me, it's everybody. Now, just imagine, when you're coming in on a tourist visa, and you're just kind of wondering what to say. But the truth will always set you free. But the truth can also result in you getting turned back around as well.
Right.
But the truth is always the best policy. Anyhow, I don't know how we got on that tangent, but just be careful at the airport.
It was the question about it was Genesis's question.
Yeah. Be careful at the airport. It's still a nerve-wracking experience, even though you're one of the first 20 people online.
Yeah.
You've had a great trip on the airplane. You get off and you get asked these questions by the officer. And for some reason, you're nervous.
Of course. I mean, I'm 54 years old. I've been pulled over a few times by police. And yeah, you see those lights come on, and I don't care whether you are doing nothing wrong or you don't know about it. Your heart starts to race, and you start to definitely panic about the whole situation.
Yeah. And I was not traveling with my family and not traveling with my husband, but John always gets put into secondary inspection. It never fails. I don't understand, but yeah, he must be on some watch list or something, but
I don't know.
You have that face.
I do have that face. I don't know. Something about my face. Always. Yes. Okay. Anyway.
All right. Let's grab another question.
So we got a question over here. My I-130 says ETA is 3 weeks away. What does that mean? ETA is.
I have no idea.
ETA is estimated time of arrival.
My I-130 says ETA is 3 weeks away. I don't know. I've never seen that. But I also I'm not the one that looks at I-130 petitions when they come into our office. So sorry, I can't help with what that means. I mean, I know what ETA means. And if the ETA of an I-130 approval is 3 weeks, then it's great. But I've never seen that before. But that doesn't mean anything because I am not the one that looks at I-130 petitions.
All right. And then just another real quick one over here. Hi, my husband got his new green card, but they made a mistake with his name. Can he file citizenship?
Yeah.
I mean, like they just, it's like a typo. They put the wrong name on his green card.
Yeah. So. I mean, if there's a Scrivener's error, okay, let's just say, name is Josue and they just put Jose, right? They left out the U, Josue, and and it's Jose. So Josue Mendoza is your husband's name, but they left out the E. The U. It's a script. It's a typographical. It's a Scrivener's error, clerical error. If it's USCIS's fault, and you can actually show that it was their fault because you have a copy of your application, you have a copy of what you wrote on that application, and you know that because you have it in front of you, because you were really smart when you filed your application and you made a photocopy of it and you presented that and that was presented to immigration, you can actually get the green card corrected for free and get a new green card. But the question is, do you want to do that? Right? Because it takes years to get that new green card back. And so this question is, can he still file for US citizenship, even though we have what John and I are assuming to be a typo on the green card? The answer is yes. And you can fix it by filing that naturalization application. And then, obviously when your spouse goes to the interview, make sure that they know what the proper name is and that it is printed out correctly on that naturalization certificate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what you can use to go and apply for the US passport, update Social Security.
Yeah. You don't have to have the wrong name forever.
Yeah.
As a citizen, you can.
Right. Yep. So it can be fixed and should be no issues. And you may be able to get it done for free if you file a new green card application and say it was the USCIS's error. But strategically, you may or may not want to do that. All right.
All right.
I think I'm next here. Leng has a great question. What documents do we need to attach when applying for my mom's petition? So U.S. citizens can file for their parents, have to be a U.S. citizen. Lawful permanent residents cannot file for their parents. So you have to be a U.S. citizen. You have to be over the age of 20. You have to be 21 or older. And if you are filing for your mom and your mom is abroad, we're only talking about the I-130 petition here. And that's what the question is for my mom's petition. So the documents that you need to show for that I-130 petition for a parent are, you have to prove that it's your parent, right? So what do we need? We need your birth certificate and we need mom's name to be on your birth certificate, right? As the mother on that birth certificate. And we need to show that you are a U.S. citizen. And so that would be proof of your U.S. citizenship. It could be a copy of your U.S. passport. It could, if you naturalize, it could be a copy of your naturalization certificate. If you were born in the United States, it can be a copy of your birth certificate. Anything to show that you are a U.S. citizen. Not anything, but those documents, generally speaking. So those are the general documents. If your mom is not on your birth certificate for whatever reason, let's say grandma's on your birth certificate, then that is a topic for another conversation. You'd have to submit some secondary evidence, affidavit as to why grandma's on the birth certificate and not mom. And then they would be requesting a DNA test for that. That's not the question that you asked, but I thought I would throw that in there for all those
somebody else.
For all those who call where mom is actually not on the birth certificate, and you would be surprised. Anyhow, it is 1 p.m. We don't have a timekeeper anymore. Do you want to grab one more question?
Well, the last question up here was, my dad is a green card holder and I'm on an F1. Can I adjust my status?
Okay. Maybe.
Yeah.
So dad's a green card holder. See, again, I'm getting excited because
I'm getting excited too, but I have a different reason that I'm getting excited. Cuban sandwiches right here.
Yeah, Cuban sandwiches, I don't know, 12 inches.
One of my all-time favorite foods in the whole world.
Yeah. All right. Going back to this question.
Yeah.
But before we answer that question, I just want to thank everybody for joining us. It has been an amazing conversation, wonderful questions. I am Radlyn Mendoza, and this is my law partner and husband, John Gardner. We are the owners of Gardner Mendoza, which it's a law firm that we founded in the year 2000. We have an amazing
right.
team,
We do.
and we'd be happy to help you. So for those who are really ready to hire an attorney to help them through their case, please give us a call. We would be honored to help you and be your attorneys on this long journey. And also follow us on social media. And we do appreciate those who come to our live, as well as follow us on social media and on TikTok. But all right, last question. It is possible that your dad may be able to file for you, and you may be able to adjust your status. It all depends on how old you are. Just leave it at that.
Leave it at that. Okay, and for those of you on Facebook, please join us next Friday if we didn't get to your question. Same to you on TikTok.
Yeah.
We'll be here next Friday, same time, 12 to 1, and bring your questions and we'll be ready. Okay?
We'll be ready.
All right, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. I know we're going to have a beautiful weekend. The sun is finally out here.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. We'll see you next week. All right.
You guys take care.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye.